Hello, ladies. It's Beth from Be Styled, and it's time for Tipsy Tuesday. Welcome. If you're new here, I want to introduce myself. My name is Beth Roy, and I'm the person behind Be Styled Personal Styling. I help grown-up women like you and me simplify fashion and style so we can just get dressed and get on with our day. And today I'm talking about a very popular pant trend. I'm not even sure if it's a trend anymore because they've been around for the last several seasons, but it's the wide leg. The wide leg pant. They often are wide leg cropped pants, which is sort of my preference, but there are also full length wide leg pants, and they are everywhere in the stores, and they cause a lot of confusion. And a lot of people take a hard pass on them. They say, and I want to address my petite friends because a lot of petites say, I can't wear those pants. They're just going to make my legs look short, and they're not going to be flattering. So they just take a hard pass. And a lot of my tall friends try them and think, well, they're too short. The wide leg crops, or they're just hard to get the length right if you're very tall, because they might be, too short to be full length, and too short to be cropped as well. And then they just don't work right. So there's a lot of issues. And really, I want to just kind of hit on the length, the silhouette, what to wear with them, and what shoes to wear, what tops to wear, and what shoes to wear. And try to simplify it. And I want to address the petites because that's a big one. First of all, I want to give a shout out to petites because you ladies have it tough. I spent a lot of time this morning grabbing links to some of these pants that I want to show you, and I find them like from Old Navy or whatever in petite, and they're like sold out. Like, I don't know if they just don't stock enough of them or if they're just so popular that you petite ladies grab them, but it's a problem. Somebody should do something about that. But anyway, I did find some that are available, and if you go to the description of this video, there is one link that will send you to a catalog that will have a bunch of these pants that I'm talking about. But feel free to ask questions. Today I actually have my glasses, so hopefully I can see your questions, and I'm going to fire up my laptop too, in case you have questions. But let's start with the length of these wide leg pants. First of all, I'll show you what I'm talking about when I talk about wide leg pants. I have a pair on. These are the Spanx twill wide leg crops that I talk about all the time because they're just so good. And these hit me. These are the regular length, so they're obviously not petite. They are a 26.5 inch inseam. So for me, they are hitting at this far above my ankle, which I think for a non-petite person, or even for anyone really, but definitely for a non-petite, petites might want to go a little bit longer just to elongate your legs. But for an average leg length, they're pretty good. Sometimes crops on me are too short, and it bothers me. But these hit just this much. Let's call that 1 inch to 2 inches above my ankle bone, which I think for a cropped style wide leg pant is a good sweet spot. Why is that? Because it is where your ankle goes in, the narrowest part of your lower leg, of your calf. In that catalog that I referenced, I posted a pair of Talbot's wide leg pants as a example of what not to do. Their at least this pant that I saw, is a 21 inch inseam in misses, like for people like me, regular average height people, 21 inch inseam. That is short. And if you look at the picture, you will see it is hitting the model right in the middle of her calf. Maybe a little lower, but it is just not a good length on anyone, I would say. It's too short, whether you're petite, tall, anyone. If that vertical line is cutting off your calf at the widest part, where everyone's leg widens at the calf and then it narrows down at your ankles to some degree or another. If that hem is cutting off, hitting a horizontal line, the widest part, it's not good. It's just a basic styling rule of thumb. You don't want things you don't want horizontal lines at a widest part of your body, whether it's your arms, your legs, your hips, anywhere. Okay, so that picture of the Talbots, or you could Google Talbots wide leg pants and you'll see an example of what I'm talking about. You want them to be longer. You want them to be closer to your ankle. If you are petite and you really want your legs to look longer, then you could actually try a pant like this in a non-petite, in a 26.5-inch inseam or 26-inch inseam, and chances are they may hit you at the top of your foot, so they're not going to be, you don't want them to go to the ground, like you don't want them a pant like this puddling on the ground ever, but they might hit the top of your foot. So you're getting all that leg real estate and you're lengthening your leg, especially if it's a higher waist. Now what we all need, ladies, is we need one of these. You need to go find, that's why I'm a little bit late. I had to go pull mine out. You need a measuring tape because it cracks me up. I was on Old Navy's website showing you these fantastic, the Spanx pants are my favorites. They're also $128. Okay, sometimes you can get them on sale in odd colors, but for the most part, you're looking at $128, and they're so popular and so good that they don't go on sale. And I would argue that if you buy one pair of white pants, I've had these for 2 or 3 seasons, the cost per wear is pretty darn good, even at $128. And I know that is outside of a lot of budgets. So Old Navy came out with a great pair of wide leg crops. I got them in this great light blue because I think the light blue is a great kind of a neutral color. They come in tan, they come in probably black, white, navy. Again, hard to get some sizes. They are called a high waist. But when you go onto the website, they don't say what the rise is. They say it hits at high waist or it hits at above the belly button. And if you know anything about rises and vertical body shapes, that doesn't mean anything because it could hit at my belly button and it could hit at somebody else's bra. It all depends on the length of your torso. High waist and low waist is completely meaningless. You need a number, and you need to know the right number for you. So you need one of these. So let's just do a little experiment here and find out how high the rise is on these Old Navy pants, which, like I said, are length. These I put in the spring style system in the main capsule, and hopefully some of you who joined that were able to get them before they sold out, because I think they are sold out in a lot of sizes. So I'm measuring from the crotch to the top. So these are about a 10-inch rise, which is not super high. I mean, super high is more like a 12-inch. It's high. I put them on. I don't love high waist, and if I recall, I liked the rise on these. The beauty of a somewhat high waist, if it's high on you, is if you're a petite, especially if you have short legs, short torso. No, if you're trying to make your legs look longer, in other words, having a higher rise is just creating a longer leg. It just is, especially when you go and tuck in or do a half tuck. If you're not tucking in your shirt, then the rise doesn't really make a difference, right? Because you're not seeing where the top of the pant is. But these are an affordable high rise or wide leg crop. They could be high rise on you. They might not be. These look longer to me than the Spanx. They're slightly longer. They're hitting a little closer to my ankle, maybe this high above my ankle. But the key is you got to go on the website and look at the inseam and measure where it's going to land on you. Don't just say, well, it's a crop or it's a petite or it's a tall, so it's going to work. You don't know. Every brand is different. You have to measure where that inseam is going to land on your exact leg. And all you need is one of these doohickeys. Or use your metal measuring tape. I mean, whatever. Just measure, okay? A little bit of math. And again, if you're looking for a rule of thumb for just some generalities, I like this much above your ankle bone. Let's call it 2 inches, okay? 2 inches above your ankle bone, give or take. Again, the longer, you might prefer. Some people don't want any kind of crops. A lot of petites don't want any kind of crop. I personally think, even on petites with very short legs, sometimes showing that ankle bone, especially with a good shoe, which we will talk about, is just going to be more flattering than having all that material covering up your ankle and going all the way to your foot. But that is personal preference. And at the end of the day, you got to do what you like. And if you're not sure, take a selfie, join my private group, take a selfie, post it, and I will give you my opinion. And it might be a matter of just bringing it up a little bit. A little bit has a big impact. And it is not expensive anymore to take those suckers to a tailor and have them go up. And it's not gonna mess up the silhouette of the pant. For example, I just for kicks and giggles, I took these regular length twill pants and I just folded them up to see if they could be hemmed. Like if I were petite, if I could wear this non-petite, and I'd fold them up, and it's a terrible length on me, but it doesn't mess up the line of the pants. So you can get, a lot of times petites can get a full length. If they're not available in petite, get the regular length and fold them up to see where you want to go. Take them to your tailor and get them hemmed. Or if they're jeans, you can do what all the cool girls are doing, and that is cut them. Be careful, make sure the length is right first. Don't go too short, because then there's just like hair, there's no going back. Well, hair grows back, pants don't, right? Don't go too short. You can always go shorter, right? Cut them and then put them in the dryer and get a little bit of that frayed hem if you like that. If you hate that, if you think that's sloppy looking, then don't do it. But if you like it, I personally do, then that's an easy way of adjusting the length of your pant without taking them to a tailor. You just need a good pair of scissors and a measuring tape. Okay, so length is very important. The silhouette is important too. If you're very petite, you don't want those really wide legs. They're just going to be too much for you. If you're very tall, you might be able to carry that off. I prefer to somewhere in the middle, like the Spanx pants, and I would say the Old Navy pants are in the middle as well. The other thing you can do, these are both of these are sort of a cotton twill, so they're a little stiffer. If you're worried about them being too much fabric on your frame, Old Navy also has sort of I call them swishy pants. They're not really swishy, but I don't know what they're made out of. They're called like air spun, I think. So they're a more flowy material. So they're going to drape and hang, but they're still a wide leg. Those, I believe, are a full length. Those are hitting the model and in the picture right at the top of her shoe. So if you like a full length, those are an option, and they are linked. They even came like a hot pink, which is really kind of cool. But then they came in neutrals as well. But the fabric, if the fabric is a little more flowy, it's not going to create as much volume. But if you are bottom heavy, if you are a pear shape or even an hourglass, like curvy figures. Here's another rant. Curvy. People use the term curvy incorrectly all the time. Curvy does not mean plus size. It does not mean, overweight ever. It does not mean that. Never let anyone tell you. Don't let anyone say, oh, you're curvy. Just means you have a defined waist. You have a waist that is smaller than your hips. In a nutshell, that is at least my definition of curvy. So generally, pear shapes are considered curvy. They have smaller waists, wider hips. Hourglasses, curvy, smaller hips, smaller waist, wider hips, proportionate shoulders. Pears generally have maybe more narrow shoulders. So if you are curvy, you could be a size 2 curvy, you could be a size 22 curvy. That's my point. It has nothing to do with size. It is shape. Okay. Just had to get that clear. So if you are curvy, these wide leg pants can work really well for you because they give you some breathing room in the hips and thighs, and they give some balance. Skinny jeans were great as well, but you usually had to wear like longer tops to kind of balance out the skinniness of the silhouette. With these, you can show off that waist and show off your great curvy hips, but not feel so like constricted and like have it taper down to your ankles, which is just accentuating that, curviness, right? This is accentuating your waist, and then you just get some space below. Okay, I think it's just more comfortable for all of us, even if you're used to skinny jeans, right? So that's another benefit of these kind of pants. Same with like if you're an apple shape, if you're an oval where you carry your weight in your midsection And generally, a lot of times they have apples and ovals have narrower hips. These are great because they're gonna just, especially a lot of them have elastic or flat weight. You want a flat, if you're an apple or an oval, that's another reason to get the Spanx. These have like a flat waistband with some stretch and some sucking in material, true to Spanx. Not uncomfortable though. They feel like yoga pants, but they're gonna smooth over that area and then give you some balance in your lower body to balance out your upper body. So there's a lot of good things about these wide leg pants, but you have to find the pair that's right for you. That's not, it's like the whole Goldilocks, not too wide, not too narrow, not too long, not too short, but you got to try and have an open mind about them. They are, slowly our eyes are getting used to seeing this silhouette. It used to be like, oh wow, that was really different when we were used to skinny jeans. Now they're everywhere. And unless you just absolutely don't like them, it's worth giving it a try. Nothing doesn't hurt to try, right? You might find that they are just a fantastic silhouette for you. But now let's talk, now that I've hammered in the length and the silhouette and given my curvy lecture, let's talk about how to wear them, okay? The basic principle of balance and proportion applies here. If you're wearing a wider bottom, a wider, whether it's a flowy maxi skirt or palazzo pants, which are wide leg, or a pant like this, just a wide leg trouser. You're not going to wear the old tunics that we used to wear with skinny jeans unless you're able to tuck it in, and bring up that length. You're not going to wear long with wide. You're going to want to shorten your under layer. You could always do a longer layer on top, have that shorter, like what I'm doing here. I'm wearing a sweater, but I did a loose front tuck, which is easy to do with these Spanx, and threw a jacket on. It was actually a shirt jacket. Okay, so, which isn't too long. If it's really long and you've got a wide leg pant, that's going to throw off your proportions. This is just, it's got this nice shirt tail hem. It's just a little below my hips. Okay, but let's see. If I take this off, I just want to demonstrate something. The problem with wearing a wide leg pant like this and then wearing a shirt untucked like this is you're just creating a big box, right? Your pants are wide, your shirt is wide, you've got no shape, no definition at all. So I'm not saying that you have to go put on a belt and tuck your shirt all the way in if you don't want to. That's a great look with wide leg pants, but if you don't like that look on you, just take, and this is a sweater, you can do it with, the best kind of shirts to do it with is this is a light sweater, this kind of, a flowy woven fabric like this that actually already has some shape that you can easily half tuck, or in some cases you could leave a shirt like this untucked because it's not too long and it has some shape. If you're an oval or an apple and you're just not tucking, then make sure your top, these are two examples of tops that you can leave untucked that aren't too long. They're not those big tunics that we used to always wear with our skinny jeans. They have some shape. You see how this isn't just a big mass of, unlike this is more of a boyfriend style, big, boxy, looks great half tucked, but would not look good left open on just about anyone, I would argue. Top like this you can get away with because it's got some shape on the sides. It's not going to cling. It's not jersey material that's going to cling to, rolls. It is going to just glide over, but not be a big tent. It's going to create some shape but not be so tunicky. Same with something like this. A curved hem, you get extra credit with a curved hem. It's a really nice feature. So that's the kind of silhouette of a shirt to look for. Again, especially if you carry a lot of your weight in your midsection, if you don't have a defined waist and you're not going to be tucking. But by taking a boxy sweater like this and leaving it like this, again, there's that talk about it's going to be boxy on anyone. All you need to do is just take there's all kinds of, just Google half tuck. Just take an inch of it, and it's going to depend on how tucked you want it, and just stick it in the front of your pant, and then I like to just leave the rest hanging down just for that relaxed look. You could go all the way around and tuck too. Good old Mary hated the half tuck. She was like, "What's with that? Why is your shirt tail hanging out?" But it was new to her back in the day. She never got used to it though. When I first saw it, I thought it was crazy too. Now I do it with my pajamas. I just like having that material up between my belly and the pant. I just like feeling fabric there. So I must always half tuck whatever I'm wearing. But what it does, especially if you're petite, especially if you want your legs to look longer, is you're just creating length. You are creating length versus this, where my legs are starting here. Now my legs are starting here. This is not news to any of you, I know. But it's a good reminder, and it's kind of mandatory when you're wearing wide leg pants, unless they're just unless the top you're wearing is like those where it's skimming your curves and the proportions are right. For the most part, you're better off with a pant like this doing some sort of half tuck. Okay? So and tops fortunately are shortening. They're not, I'm not telling you to go buy a crop top, but it's gonna be the retailers, as the pant legs got wider, tops have gotten somewhat shorter and a little more fitted. So there's method to their madness. The other good news, especially for petites, when it comes to the third piece, is jackets. For many seasons, and I liked it, but I'm 5'8", so it was easier for me. The oversized boyfriend, relaxed, slouchy jackets that have been so popular that it's very hard to pull off on a petite. Or on an hourglass who needs that structure. If you're a rectangle like me, you could kind of get away with it. But if you have great curves and you just throw a big boxy jacket over, you're eliminating your curves, and just makes everything, it just throws off proportions. So it was very hard to pull off. Happily, the retailers have said, okay, that was fun. The 20-year-olds loved it. They're still popular. You'll still see like matching suits with big oversized. I kind of like it, but not the most flattering look on anyone. But you'll see jackets, toppers are getting nipped in, a little more structured, and a little bit shorter to work with these wide leg pants. Example, and I'm not telling you got to go out and buy these exact coats. These are just what I happen to have, thanks to Cabby in my closet here. But this is just an example of a silhouette of a jacket that I love. You'll see, this is a nice, it's not cropped in that it's not, like a bolero jacket. It is and I'm definitely not petite. This looks great on petite. It is hitting me right at my hip bone. So it's just a shorter jacket. And, I had to push up the sleeves. It's great for petites because it already has the 3/4 sleeves. Makes it easier to push up sleeves. And if you're a petite and your sleeves are always too long, you lose that problem. So shorter jackets, you can always do then if you really didn't want to tuck in a sweater like this, then you could untuck your sweater and the jacket is pulling in that fabric and giving you some shape and eliminating that boxiness that I showed you before. I still prefer it tucked, personally, but that's the kind of thing you can play with. A jacket, a shorter, structured. I say structured. This is not stiff. This is ponte knit. Look for ponte knit with stretch. It's a nappable. This is a nappable jacket, but it's not boxy. It's not oversized. It's got some tailoring, and it pulls. It creates shape, and it works great with the wide leg pants because it's shorter. It's not competing with the width of the pants. Okay, so shorter, more cropped jackets. Another example of that. Or like, remember this? Like even your denim jacket. This is a little blah. Yeah, I wouldn't wear this jacket with this outfit, but a lot of us have the peach denim jacket. This would be great with the actual denim. Do I have that here? I do. A denim jacket does the same thing as that fancy Cabby matchmaker jacket. It's a nice, great cropped, shorter length with these wide leg pants versus like the trucker denim jackets that were popular that I never was even tempted by that. Cute on people, certain people, but I just like a traditional denim jacket, shorter, regular. It's not cropped. There are cropped ones. and they work great with the wide leg pants. Okay, so let me just take a breath here and see if we have any questions before we talk about the favorite feature and most important, shoes. Let's see. What about talls? Okay, Jane, talls. You got to get your measuring tape. When it comes to cropped pants, you're going to have to shop for talls. Spanx come in tall. They come in a tall inseam. I'm guessing they are a 30-inch inseam. Don't quote me on that. Look at the length. But you are going to want them to still hit a little bit above your ankle. You don't want them to be, if a really tall girl, like my girl, like Julie Martin, put these Spanx in a non-tall on, or Suzanne Looney if you're there, they're probably going to hit those girls that are, 5'11" and taller. They would probably hit them at mid-calf, which goes back to what I talked about earlier. It's going to be too short, and that's not good. Even if you have tall, beautiful legs, and you're thinking, well, I don't want my legs to look any taller. Maybe I'll cut them off. No, don't do that. Go maybe instead of going this far above your ankle, maybe you go this far above your ankle, but you're not going this far above your ankle, in my opinion. So you're going to have to shop tall, or I don't know, if you could even let out the hem to get some length in certain pants. That's something to look at. Sometimes you might be able to with these. I'm not a seamstress, so I don't know, but you gotta get that length right. So you need that measuring tape. You need to go to the website, and shopping for these is easier to do on a website because you can search by inseam. You can see all the information. If you go to the store, I'm sure the information is not on the tag. You could try it, of course, in the store you can try it on. So I guess but the selection is not as good. I personally think it's easier to do online, but that's just me, because I just like to visually see it on the computer. Look at the inseam, look at the number, get my thing out and say, okay, it's 26.5 inches. So you're going to measure from your crotch down to the bottom, and that is wherever 26.5 ends on your leg, on your measuring tape, is going to be the length of those pants, unless they're lying, okay? And same with the rise. The rise is from the crotch up to the waistband. Don't just say, well, it's high rise. High rise, I don't want them. I was guilty of that for the longest time. And then I was like, well, what exactly is a high rise? I just assumed if it said high rise that it was like 11 or 12 inches, which is too high for me. And then I was looking and it would say high rise, and then it would say, I would look to see what the rise was, and it would say like 9.5 inches. And I'm like, well, that's not really high rise for me. That's just right. That's like a mid rise. Rule of thumb, I think I like a rise to hit right at my belly button. Wherever that is on you, you're going to have to measure. Everyone's going to be different on everyone. But I think that's a good spot because you're going to eliminate muffin top because it's not so low that everything here spills over. And you're going to eliminate it coming up to your rib cage, which gives you that Urkel effect. I think right at, or maybe these are hitting, I'll show you my belly button, right at my belly button. I kind of like a smidge below, like this much below. I don't like much above my belly button, but that's personal. But you got to measure to see where it's going to land on you. Okay. So it's challenging for talls as well as petites. Better to get tall and have hemmed. Short on this with the Spanx anyway. There will be a line on them. Okay, Patty, good to know. Yeah, look and see what the inseams are. And again, yeah, you're right. That's a very good point. Like there are some cropped cabbie pants that on me are just a little too short, which if they came in talls, I would be better off getting the tall and then hemming them. So if you can find a tall, if you're in between, you're right. Go with the tall and hem it. I do appreciate your advice on petites. It seems if you don't purchase your pants early in season. Yes, especially. Who is that? It's so true. Vicky, it's so true. Especially with certain kinds of pants. White, off-white, tan. They sell out like that. Wide leg pants in petites in any kind of great color or off-white, tan. They sell out. They sell out in like February, March. So they're already starting to be hard to come by. And I don't, again, like I said, I don't know if they just don't stock enough. If anyone has luck with a brand that has a good selection of petites, J. Crew is another one to look at. Banana Republic has great, but their stuff sells out like that. I don't know what it is with Banana Republic. I found some great pants and it was all sold out, sold out, sold out, sold out. So frustrating. But yeah, you got to shop early, and hopefully it's not too late now. Okay, so we've talked about the length and the silhouette, and the key to there, I can't tell you what's right for you, other than you've got to think about your proportions and your body, and you got to get that measuring tape. I have extras of these. If you want me to send you one, I will. At one point, I might have gotten rid of them in my move. At one point, I had like 15 of these back from my peach days when I was going to be measuring people for bras, and then they changed course. I had like a pack of these. You get a measuring tape. So you've got your length right, you've got your silhouette right. Now you got to figure out and you know what shirts you're going to wear. You know, you're going to wear shorter jackets, more fitted, half tucked, etc. If you want to go with the full tuck and a belt, if you're an hourglass or a pear and you want to accentuate your great waist, or if you're like me and you don't have a waist and you want to kind of try to create a waist, create some curves, then you could, throw a belt on. If you're an apple or an oval and you're like, not touching, I don't want to wear a belt, then just make sure your top is nice and follows your curves without clinging to them, without being voluminous and boxy, or go with a voluminous boxy shirt in a great loose material that's easy to loosely tuck and blouse out. Okay, that's the tip on the top. Or go with a top and then throw on a jacket. This works for everyone. Throw on a jacket with some structure that's a little shorter to give shape as well. Okay, now shoes. You know me, I'm not a big shoe person. I leave that to my girl Elise and a bunch of you who love shoes. I mean, people love shoes. I have a pretty finite selection of shoes. If it warms up, I'm going to wear this outfit with these shoes. I do love a fun shoe. I bought these a couple years ago. I tried to sell them on Poshmark and no one bought them. And then I was like, I kind of like them now with the yellow. So I'm glad I kept them. So a fun shoe is a great thing to do when you're wearing cropped wide leg pants, right? Because you're showing your ankle, you're showing, you've got a wider opening that can support a shoe. But what kind of shoe? And this is going to change if you're wearing them long down to the top of your foot versus cropped. The reason I like cropped, even on petites, is if the shoe if you're going to wear a shoe that you love, it's easier. It's easier, and I just think it looks better, and the shoe shows up more, and I just think it's going to be more flattering. But the key that I talk about ad nauseum is your shoe, especially if you're looking to elongate, you want your shoe to either match your pant color or your skin color in a perfect world. Or go to town and do a fun statement shoe in a color and then tie that color in somewhere up in the outfit. Doesn't have to be, you don't have to wear, I'm wearing a yellow sweater, I'm going to wear a yellow shoe. You could wear a sweater or a top that was mostly pink with maybe a little bit of yellow in it, or a pinkish top and then have a yellow handbag or a handbag with some yellow in it. Somewhere you want to probably have the yellow show up, or whatever the color is of the statement shoe. So I'm not telling you can't wear your fun shoes. But I am saying is, when in doubt, you want to match your pant or your skin tone. Okay? And if you're petite, it's just always going to be better to have a little bit of a heel. I'm not saying a high heel. I don't even own any high heels. I mean, yeah, I don't really do the high heel thing anymore. If you can, that's gonna be the best way to elongate your physique if you're petite. But if you're not wearing, stiletto, like a true high heel, when I think of a high heel, I think of the ones like, a thin heel, tall. If you can tolerate a block heel, like a shoe like this with a little bit of a block heel, that is going to be better. I just posted a picture of this outfit on somewhere, Instagram, somewhere, Facebook, and one of the pictures I had this on And in the other picture, I had on what I would normally wear on a day like today, which is my my lug sole taupe patent loafers. And they are fine, but these are going to be more flattering. These are going to be better. Here come the dogs. Because they have a little bit of a heel. They disappear on my foot, and they're just better. If same with like a wedge shoe is going to make your wide leg pants look better. Now, especially if they're full length, especially if they're going to the top of your foot, then a little bit of a heel is going to keep you from looking kind of frumpy. Now, that's being said, you will see it's very popular right now to wear full length, wide leg, say jeans with, white sneakers. That's what all your daughters are wearing. If a platform, a sneaker with a little bit of a platform, Cole Haan has one, I think makes it look better than a truly flat sneaker. Still, I think you have to be tall to pull that off. I don't love it, but it's very common and it's very popular. So you can totally do that. What I wouldn't do is wear, even for a petite, tall, anyone, but definitely for a petite, the full length. Let's say you're saying, Beth, I want full length to my top of my foot because I want to want to stretch that real estate in my leg. In that case, what I probably would not do with a wide leg pant, if it was a straight leg, thin, straight leg pant, then this doesn't apply. But with a wide leg pant to the top of your foot, I would not wear a ballet flat, which are very popular right now. If you have to, then go with a pointy-ish toe one, or one that's not completely too minimalist, because the wide leg pant down to your foot and then a little ballet flat, I think the proportions on that are just going to be off. You're going to be better off with with like a loafer. Doesn't have to be as luggy as this, but like a more substantial shoe to balance off the substantialness of the pant. I have these also in a bone taupe that I wear a lot this time of year. More in the winter too, but they're just not as clunky as these because they're more like my skin color. And they worked with this outfit that I had on. But if you're wearing a crop, then you have a little bit more options. I think you could wear a ballet flat with a cropped wide leg. Probably not my first choice, but at least you're showing some ankle, and then you've got your ballet flat. I think that I would say yes. You could absolutely do that. Something more substantial is probably going to be better. Maybe it is a trainer, a sneaker, if you want that very casual look, like with a pair of these kind of wide legs, like the Old Navy pants. That could be a cute look. A sneaker, very hip and modern and casual. Or a lug sole loafer, or that sandal. Sandal weather's coming, and really any sandal is going to work with these. A block heel is going to work. A platform is definitely going to work. This is great if you just don't want your foot on any kind of angle, but you want some height. Look for a platform sandal. They come in all different. These are the Sam Edelman that I wasn't going to keep, and then I tried them on. They're really comfortable, and they've got a nice platform. And they have the tortoise, which we talked about a couple weeks ago, is very on trend. So sandals, you could do your wedge sandal, or you could also do a completely flat sandal, in which case I would match again the color of the pant or the color of my skin. Example of that would be my Target, a sandal like this. As long as the pants aren't dragging on the ground, they have to be above your ankle, I think, for a shoe like this to work, or hitting, right at the shoe. But when it's a sandal versus a shoe that's your foot all covered up, you can get away with it, in my opinion. This is all my opinion. I hope some of this helps. I'm getting a little on a tangent here, but shoes. That's my advice on shoes for wide leg pants. Do we have any specific questions, ladies? Did I lose my glasses? Oh, I just broke a hanger. You wouldn't believe, there are my glasses. You wouldn't believe my bed here. Let's see if we have any questions before I wrap up. I also saw once that if you are short-waisted, match your belt to top. Yes, Patty, longer waisted, match your pants. Yes, anytime if you're short-waisted, you want to visually elongate. So the whole belt, that's a great point, Patty. If let's say I wanted to wear a belt with these pants and I was short-waisted, so I don't want to cut myself off. Matching my belt, in this case, maybe an ivory colored belt would be a great idea. Or, if I had a yellow belt. Either way, I'm elongating this real estate here. The belt in yellow would make the yellow longer. The belt in cream would versus, a brown belt is just going to create a very sharp line. So if you're short-waisted, you wouldn't want to do that. If you're long-waisted, maybe you would want to do that. Maybe you want to create, shorten your torso by using a bigger belt that had more of a contrast. It's all about proportions and this geometry in a lot of ways, which go figure. And what it is at the end of the day is it's not rules, it's trial and error. It doesn't hurt to try. Does not hurt to try. And at the end of the day, like I was talking to my girl Pam from I Pick Paint Color, she's like, you got to love where you live. Pick what you like. Don't worry about what are people going to think if I put this crazy wallpaper up or I pick this paint color? What are people going to think? Are they going to think no, who cares? You like it. Same thing with clothes. If you like it, that's all that matters. All right. But I'm here to help. And someone like Pam is here to help. It helps sometimes to have an unbiased, uninvolved person give you some advice. And just as an aside, I highly recommend Pam on Instagram and on Facebook. She's I Pick Paint Color. She is a paint color specialist. She's a designer with a really intense art background who has narrowed her focus to picking things like paint colors, wallpaper. I think she even does lighting, but she's not going to do a full house of furniture. She'll refer you to people like that, but she's good. And you got to follow her on Facebook because she does Friday 5 on Fridays that are like very entertaining. I think she might be a frustrated stand-up comedian because she's good. She has fun and she's a lot of fun to work with. Anyway, well, that was an aside. Okay, but comes down to the same thing. Be confident in your choices, wear what you like, ask for help, ask for guidance, and at the end of the day, take a picture, look at it, and say, I like that. Or, what's wrong? I don't like that. Something's not working. Tweak it, keep trying. And eventually, ding, 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 you'll have a winner. And then just rinse and repeat until they change the trends, and then we'll talk later, okay? All right, anyway, thanks for being with me here today. This is always fun. And I just want to make sure I don't miss any questions off topic, but which nail color are you wearing today? Martha, I went and bought nail polish because I couldn't get to the salon and it's a mess. It's all chipped and I'm not good at that, but I wear Funny Bunny all the time. In fact, I might try to go today and get it. Funny Bunny. It's like a white with a little bit of pink, neutral. It's very popular. Funny Bunny on my nails. I have it on my toes too. Patty, that's a great point about long and short waisted. I do memorize and petites. Better to get tall. Yeah, I think I got all the questions. I will just say that you have to remember when I was talking about apples and pears and bananas and peaches and body shapes, that's your horizontal body shape. And everyone a lot of us know, I'm a rectangle, or you're a combination. But people often overlook the whole vertical body type. And I'll do a whole nother episode on that. But some of us know intuitively if we're proportionate or we're short-waisted or long-waisted, but you got to know that. And I'll tell you real quick how to tell if you're short or long-waisted. You guys know this. Anyone over 40 knows this trick. You take one hand, close your fingers, put it under your bra. Take the other hand, put it right there. If your lower finger is going right to your belly button, like it is with mine, you are average, proportionate. You are just proportionate, nothing. If your belly button is completely covered up by your hand, see if I get this right. If your belly button is covered up by your hand, then you are long-waisted. You have a long torso. If your belly button is covered up by your hand, you're short-waisted. If your belly button is well below your hand, then you're long-waisted. Does that make sense? Google it. Did I get that right? Correct me. Was I wrong? Did I get that right? Proportionate. If your belly button is below your hand, that would make you long-waisted. If your belly button is covered up by your hand, your lower hand, that would make you short-waisted. Got it. Okay. See, you just learned something. You learned a little party trick. Anyway, I'm going to leave you with that. Good to know. That's the bottom line, though, is the measuring tape and knowing what your rise is. Don't worry about the belly button and all that. Just know, where do you like for your pants to land? Measure where that spot is, down to your crotch, write down that number, commit it to memory, memorize it. That's the only thing you need to know, okay? And then when you're shopping for pants, look for where it says rise. Do the same thing for inseam. Figure out where you want your pants to land, memorize that number. You'll save yourself a world of hurt. If you learned anything from today, learn to get a measuring tape, learn your rise, learn your length, and then stop worrying about, it says high rise, it says low rise, it says mid rise. Those words are irrelevant. The only thing that matters is the number, and you have to figure that out for yourself, okay? All right, ladies, thanks for being here today, and message me or just comment below any questions, and there's a link to both the style system here for spring. We're just starting, never too late to join, and also to a single link that will take you to all these things that I talked about today. Everything I'm wearing and everything I talked about, and a bunch of different options for wide-legged pants in different price points. Okay? Thanks for being here. It's always fun, and I will see you next week. Bye.